We are also live on YouTube today. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube, hi, Cranston. If you are not subscribed to the YouTube, please consider doing so. And if you have the means to have the live stream up over there, or at least like give it a like or something, that is very helpful. But there's, really no pressure. We did do a sponsored segment yesterday for Star Trek Fleet Command. Even downloading the game helps support the channel. So we have upheld our end of our basic obligation for this sponsorship, but we have 2 weeks to make progress on goals. I'll probably revisit the game at least one more time before the end of that period. So if you're interested in trying it out, please feel free to give it a look-see. And you can actually play this on multiple platforms, not just on mobile. Hi, Danielle on YouTube. Thank you. Chen's name is Pink on my screen. I'm going to assume she wants a pink chicken when we get out of ads. For her Prime sub. Thank you, Chen. Hi, RC. How you doing? Welcome in. Happy hump day. I will not be live this Friday, so that's kind of why I'm live on a Wednesday, partly. I do actually have a commission to make for an Etsy order. If you or someone you know owns a Blue Yeti microphone and you'd like a custom-made fuzzy mic cover, any ASM artists in chat? Says the ad break is finishing now. So, hello. Happy Wednesday. Hope everybody's doing well. Yesterday was crazy busy. And it just feels like it's just not going to stop. Okay, I do hear music. Hi, Redtastic. How you doing? Shout out to Redtastic. Thank you, Cranston. All right, I'm going to get down to it because I really need to get this commission finished. This is my hack for working with fur yarn in a magic circle, which is very irritating. If you try to do it with just the fur yarn, you're going to get yourself in trouble. So I make a magic circle with acrylic, like a coordinating acrylic yarn, right? Like this is not exactly the same, but it's pretty close. And I make a chain up, and then I just attach the fur yarn to that first chain, and I cinch this down. I pull that down and tighten it. So now this fur yarn becomes the first, that chain. Even though I'm going to be working not in spirals, not in continuous spirals, but in rounds connected with a slip stitch. Because this fur yarn is so hard to see where the stitches are, I put a stitch marker in that first stitch. Are you for real? Oh, okay. I thought this was a factory knot, and I was about to get really upset. Like that close to the... Are you for real? Get it? you are well, working on stuff and things, because only 2 weeks till your trip to DC to see your daughter. Oh, I'm so excited for you. That's awesome. We're talking about my mom coming out here next month. You had a gnat fly up your nose. Jokes on the gnat. It wasn't going anywhere with all the bookas in your nose. Take that, gnat. Okay, so now I'm doing the first. My hook just popped right out of there. No. Come on. There we go. Ruined and saved. Again, even though normally...
Karen Days, my name just powered up with 100 bits. Thanks for the gigantifying emote. Smile.
That's your favorite. That's the one you owe. Thank you. Thank you for giga emoting in here. How's your Wednesday going, Karen? Karen is a pyrographer and has a beautiful singing voice, and you all need to be following Karen too.
Ayo.
Need to catch a bus. Hopefully this giant network. Oh, Aussie. Good luck catching a bus. A whole entire bus in a net, you goofball. Thank you for the work lurk, RC. I appreciate it. Hi, Alexander Rex. Hey, everybody. I met Alexander Rex in Buck Foozle's chat. And I went to their about page and was like, oh, I see mention of fiber arts. Instant follow. So please, everybody. And Buck spoke very highly of you. Plus, I if I'm not mistaken, another actor, which is always fun. And it's such a, streaming is so great for those of us who want to be performers and don't want to leave our house or can't because we have excessive amounts of children and animals. Fiber art buddies. You just started Gree, and there's a little cube-headed guy. You need to figure out how to crochet. What is it Gree? Gris? What is this? This is a game. I do game on the channel. Sometimes I started as a Fortnite streamer of all things, Alexander. Please go check them out. Please go check them out. I love that I was in a totally like a gamer channel. Although, I mean, dude, Buck will just bust out a violin. He has a 5-stringed violin. I played violin, bassoon, cello, and piano in school. Absolutely. An actor. Guilty as charged. Stage, film, both. Give us your quick elevator pitch. And do you still do a lot of acting gigs? I know for a lot of people, the pandemic, man, if that was their main thing. The V in violin stands for 5. Absolutely not squatched. His violin is an aberration, but a delightful one at that. And I love that he'll just break it out and jam, which is amazing. Both of our kids, older kids, play wind. Well, I guess trombone is a brass instrument. We have a wind player. We have a flautist, a trombonist. And I actually am renting a cello. I need to practice. I haven't practiced in a minute. But I went to theater school. I have a Bachelor of Arts in Theater, and I really... What? Aries? All of our animals are named after Greek gods and goddesses, which is such a theater nerd thing to do, honestly. So yes, this is a mic cover for a Blue Yeti microphone, and I feel like Aries! He is knocking everything over. He wants kibble. He's hungry. Aries, no. Now here, home skillet. Now you have to let me show you off to everybody. You nerd. Stop it, bro. He's knocking all my stuff over. What a punk. Yeah, well, this is what you get, buddy. Now you have to let me show you off, handsome. Yeah, I know, you're a brat and you're gonna get your way. He is such a brat. All right, I will feed you. They get first and second breakfast. They get treats. They're so spoiled. Alexander, it's awesome to meet you. If we would all take this moment of contentless content, streamerless content to make sure we're following Alexander and Karen and anyone else who's in here who streams. Squatched. Squatched is a streamer. I know, that wasn't comfortable. I'm sorry. Tired Streamer is a streamer. Imagine. All right. Oh, they don't touch the yarn. Thank goodness. Oh my God, my life would be so much more difficult. I probably would just not be able to do all of this and have all of this here. I would have to have like a separate, I'd have to have like a she shed or something. Or like an office, like a studio space, which would be kind of rad for a lot of reasons. Stage, screen, interactive performance, mostly screen though. And you're on an untraditional path these days as an actor. Nice to meet another theater school grad. Hope I also had fun laying on. Oh my God. Imagine there's a string pulling you from the top of the crown of your head. Pulling you straight up into the air. No, you look like you have a chain. You look like you have Marley's chain from what's the Dickens? What the Dickens? That's hilarious. This is an accurate, very accurate. And also just kind of rolling around on the floor pretending to be some sort of animal or what have you. I spent a lot of time walking like a bird or arguing the finer points of Harold Pinter's body of work. I enjoyed it, and it was great. What's wonderful about theater is that there really kind of is something for every type of artist. It is the ultimate collaborative art form. Because if you don't... Yes. Walk like a bird. Exactly. Rolling around, becoming a creature, getting up, throwing an imaginary rock with as much neutral movement as possible. Simply delightful. Those ducks are theater, actually, right? They should actually come through like a little red curtain. It teaches you a lot of amazing and very valuable life skills that you then have to apply to some other way to make a living. So I mostly used it, to kind of enhance people's experience in restaurants for a long time, which I had already done before I even went to school for theater. I had restaurant jobs all throughout my from the age of 13. Used to do all those things for a while, but the meds they gave you started working. Oh, I see. We are speaking truth here today. Yes. When I teach my students, I always highlight the fact that even if they do not desire to be performers, choosing to do the scary thing and get up there and have even some small part in a play on stage, it helps them with public speaking. It helps them with interviews. It helps them just have confidence that they could do something that they had previously felt that they could not do. So I encourage them to do it. I won't force anybody to get up on stage if they really don't want to be a performer. But I think everyone, including all the prima donna diva actors that only want to be on stage, if they want to do theater or even if they do film, they should spend time shadowing the other people who contribute to make the final project come to life. Kind of like, you know, with streaming, we're sort of forced to do everything. You know, our own promo, HR, tech stuff. Not all of us are as capable, right, with some aspects of that. Some of us are, you know, naturally like goofballs who don't mind, you know, making total fools out of themselves, whether it's in front of a virtual or a real life audience. And that's the thing we're really good at, is just in the spur of the moment offering to do something really insane for, you know, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital charity goal, or if you guys, you know, get us to this many sub points, I will do XYZ or whatever, right? Because that's improv. Yes. And other people struggle with that stuff, where some people also have executive dysfunction and we don't always prioritize. Like, we might be great fun, but we don't prioritize our time off stream very well. And we procrastinate a lot of the tasks that we need to do in order to make our productions more professional and seamless. And it doesn't mean that we can't eventually get there or we can't learn better skills. But I think it's a really amazing thing, particularly for, you know, for anyone to be involved in, but for young people and teens. My dogs are losing it because there's probably someone delivering a package outside. Also, if you're an actor, everyone you meet will tell you about their experience with performing, and it's genuinely nice to be so frequently reminded how much it means to people. Yes, for sure. They'll be like, oh, I was in one play in 4th grade. I was a tree and I fell over and broke my costume and they had to carry me off stage. You know, but I think it's important for kids to at least have access to opportunities. So I am an educator. Thank you for the follow. I really appreciate that. I don't address you unless you talk in chat, because I like to let lurkers lurk. And we've talked before here about how streaming is so different from the forms of entertainment that most of us grew up with, you know, unless you're under a certain age. We did not have direct connection through, you know, a chat, internet chat or whatever, with, you know, our form of entertainment. So it is certainly quite different. When you fell, did you make a noise? Only because there were people around. I asked you this already, right? Squatched. Did you do theater in school? I feel like you would have been a theater kid, but some kids are like, some people are like, yeah, I wished I was a theater kid, but I did too much sports, or, you know, I have a hard time I have a hard time wrestling them away. Get it? Athletics are really big around here. I live in a rural area, so trees fall down all the time. So that's commitment to the real tree experience. Something I've wanted to pursue is voice acting and voiceover. I have a child who I think would be really, really good at that. He's better than me, hands down. He has more natural ability, but I've also reminded them that natural ability is not an instant, you know, ticket to success in anything. You still have to work. And in fact, maybe you might need to focus on working even more than somebody who just truly wants it because they have a passion for it, you know. So, or if you're good at something but you don't have a passion for it, that's okay. You need to recognize that. You did no extracurriculars in school, really. Squatched, I think that it's good that you found streaming, because it's never ever too late. It is never ever too late. I'm not being facetious for once. 1 second. Yikes. Hi, Brian. Brian, did you do theater or anything like that in school? Have I asked you this question before? And not that this is like me like going, oh, well, you didn't. Oh, well. More time for extracurriculars now. Right. I think we have this idea that we're only allowed to like explore all of that and experiment with it as kids. And I just wish that people would abandon that attitude altogether, because it doesn't matter. There's plenty of examples of people who did not start you know, performing until later in their lives. And who knows, maybe if they had tried doing it when they were younger, it would have felt, it would not have worked out for them. They did not have the life experience they needed, or the maturity, or whatever. You never know. Anyways, yes, we are working on a commission today. You spent your entire school years trying not to be at school. Unfortunately, school does not serve a lot of people well, particularly if you are a different style of learner than what is being, exercised in the classroom, etc. Oh, you had audio situation, positive. But yeah, Alexander, what did you answer my question about what GRIS is? And I didn't read it because I don't read chat properly. That's for Karen. You love Karen. We all love Karen. And I'm curious if you're interested in expanding on it. What you mean with untraditional path these days as an actor? Are you saying like, putting more time into doing like video game stuff, virtual stuff? Just curious if you're willing to explain what you meant by that. Cranston is lurking to go shopping. Stream Elements is trying to get you to download Star Trek Fleet Command using my link to reach the goals to support the stream. Use code CONRULES to get in-game rewards. See how I snuck that in there. I had the awesome opportunity, Alexander, as a teen to do summer theater intensives with a small professional company in Iowa City called Riverside Theater, and it was life-changing. They showed me what it looks like to work with, I was introduced to the idea that like fame, stardom, celebrity, all that stuff that a lot of people associate with being a performer is not where it's at, honestly. And that if you find the right small group, you get to do cool projects that are like really rewarding and fulfilling, and it can be done well and consistently. And the theater is still there. They do not run it anymore, the people who ran it when I was going to this program. But you can introduce lots of other folks to the amazing experience that is a well-rehearsed, when you're truly committed to the art, fun, enjoyable, and not stuffy or pretentious experience. So I was so fortunate to have that opportunity as a teen. I will never not be insanely grateful to them. Their names are Ron Clark and Jody Hovland, and I kind of consider them like my theater parents. And they no longer run the theater, but they're still involved. Was I asking you if you were in a drama program? Yes. Did you do drama theater in school? I think I got caught up on chat, kind of. You had no extracurricular stuff at your high school and no sports. Wow, really? Tired streamer? I'm sorry. Was always a high honors AP student, graduated with honors, but hated it. Oh no, Squatch. Got caught up typing. Gree, pronounced Gree, you were right, is a gorgeous indie game, all watercolors. Ooh, very vibey platformer. You hear the story is also very deep, but you've only seen a little bit. You are, but think you're half the issue. Trying to get things sound better where you're not turning things up max and all that. Thinking it might be time to buy a new sound card and or speakers. Oh, I see. You should... No theater for you. Lots of your friends did, though. You just born this way. We do find each other. Untraditional path. You're looking more towards... Don't worry. I go in chat sometimes too. Blech. I try not to because I know that it sometimes can be hard to read. But it's all good. You're in good company. For untraditional path, you're looking toward more self-produced things, thinking of the modern actor as someone who is also a writer / producer / director. Brian, sound familiar? Etc. Like streaming, it's wearing all hats to get a thing made. Kind of like what I'm saying. It'll probably grow into a group of people who get to make stuff together often. It's untraditional in the sense that it's not as focused on the audition / pay-to-play workshop model that you were in for a long time. No, don't apologize. We should all be so lucky. Yeah, so I've told this story here before, and I don't want it to sound like, pity me, poor baby 9, who, had these big dreams, had stars in her eyes, and, at 13 years old, my best friend dragged me to an audition for the school play. I said no. He said, haha, very funny, coming with me. Thank you and heck you, Ryan. So Ryan drags me to the audition for a play called, what was it called again? My character's name was Hope Leslie Trite. And it was a comedy murder mystery or whatever, a whodunit. And I delivered my first punchline. The crowd goes nuts, laughing. Everyone thinks I'm hilarious. I'm like, oh my gosh, I found my superpower. And I never looked back all through the rest of school. I went to school for theater. But the hard part for me was, I had big dreams of being, just live theater only. That's all I wanted to do. And so I applied to several very prestigious live theater training programs, i.e. conservatory acting schools. And I got accepted to my first choice school and program at the Tisch School of the Arts at NYU. And then they didn't give me any financial aid. Like, not anything over the federal amount I was awarded from, the Department of Education. So if you know anything about NYU, it is really no way. High 4.5, sort of, I think. You know what I think, Alexander? Yeah, go into crippling debt for a piece of paper to be an actor. An actor. An actor. Do you know what the cost? I mean, I know Brian, what the cost of living is like in New York. It's insane. There's no way I could have. Any actors in chat? Oh my goodness. Dude. There wasn't even any way that my parents could have taken out the necessary loans. They would not have qualified for them. So I said, I'm not going. My then off and on again high school boyfriend's older brother was like, what do you mean you're not going? And I was like, dude, Jay, how am I going to pay for NYU? Do you have $30,000 or $40,000 a year just laying around? Because it was that expensive even back then. I'm sure it's outrageously expensive now. So I ended up going to USC because they gave me grants, work study. So the federal stuff is no matter what, no matter where you go. But then there's the individual schools offerings. So I ended up going to USC for 2 years, but I didn't like Los Angeles. I just didn't feel like it was the right place for me to be. And I think I was right. But I do sometimes wish that I had finished my undergrad there and then moved on to somewhere else. Because there were great teachers there. I am very not LA. Yeah. Look how I show up to stream every day in sweatshirts and ponytails and my cheetah print slippers and I'm eccentric and there's plenty of those. But more personality-wise, and I don't care about fashion. I don't care about trends. I'm very PNW. I'm PNW. I'm a PNW child of a Midwesterner, so I'm nice, and a New Yorker. So sometimes I'm very loud. My niceness is very loud, and I yell at people, but with love. So, and no, I don't know how to make a hot dish. My mom's from Iowa. I know how to make really good popcorn, though. Really good, next level. I make kettle corn, popcorn with and it doesn't even need melted butter. My husband said, he's like, your popcorn is so good, it doesn't even need butter. It tastes like it has butter on it. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. And I don't use a microwave. Just saying, you don't need a microwave, by the way. In fact, try it sometime. Make it on the stove and tell me it's not 700,000 times better than microwave popcorn. And I still love movie theater popcorn. I really do. But I believe that at the risk of sounding very new age and hippie and whatever, I really do think that if I had ended up in New York at 18 years old I might not have made it out. Or I would have made it out rather quickly. I would have been, I don't know. I don't know if I would have been overwhelmed by New York necessarily itself. I think of all the big cities in the world, it's one of the ones that I could probably stand to live in, but only if I was like set up to live there. And I knew that on some level. At 18 years old, I was like, I can't live in New York City if I'm not, if I don't have a good, solid cushion. And we did have family that I think had a rent control place there, but somebody was living there at the time. So it wasn't available for me to just like go, okay, I'm swooping in. You lived in NYC for a while and miss it dearly. I think it's such a cool city. I've been there, several times. I really do think it's one of the coolest cities, but I think NYC and LA, they're big cities that are hard for some people for different reasons, but the outcome can be the same for a lot of folks, which is they just end up in a bad place in their lives because of how convenient all of the bad things are. You decided that 48 minutes to reheat last night's dinner was way better. Squatched, hush. I'm in this picture and I don't like it. The cost of living is so tough to manage. So I made the responsible decision. I went to USC for 2 years. They actually, of all of the schools, I went to like 3 different colleges before I finally graduated. I went into the least debt going to, like, if you were to break it down by credit, I went into the least debt of any of the 3 schools. The other 2 were both public schools, and I accrued way more debt in public schools than I did at USC, which is an insanely expensive private school also. But they gave me grants. They gave me funding. So I tried it. I didn't care for LA. I had great teachers. I was on the dean's list every semester. I directed Carol Churchill's Traps in a black box theater. Like, I had resources, but I just felt like that the theater community there was a lot less of what I was looking for. And I'm not unhappy that I made the decision that I did. I wish that I had finished there and moved on after that sometimes, just so that I could be like, okay, I finished my 4-year, and then maybe go to graduate school to like teach theater or something. But again, it's okay, because here I am now doing this and I love it. I maybe wouldn't have my 3 beautiful kids. I wouldn't have met my husband through restaurants in Portland. So that's also LA theater. For a lot of folks, it's something to do. Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm screaming. It's something to do. The number of times that a teacher in one of my classes had to explain to, again, some prima donna diva, why do I have to come here and do this like scene design stuff? I don't care about any of this. I just want to be an actor in film. And I'd be like, oh, that's readily apparent. Like, they were not interested in like this beautiful collaborative thing where I was like, dude, I will show up to the costume shop even when I don't have credits that I need. I don't need shop time to like complete a credit. I'm just here to help. Hi, what do you need help with? And they'd all be like, oh God, it's that wacky loud girl. And then they would realize I knew how to operate a sewing machine. And they'd be like, okay, we'll put up with the nonstop yammering because she's going to help us get these costumes made. And I would not stay out of the theater. I would not stay away. I couldn't. I was like, it was the same thing in high school. I would skip class. I wouldn't skip class. I'd tell my teacher, hey, we're really behind on set construction. Is there any way that I can, I have to frog because I don't remember where I was at. You can't see a dang thing with this fur yarn. Is there any way, I'm all done with my work. Can I go to the theater and go paint? We're really behind. And even if we were mostly not behind. I just didn't want to be in there. I wanted to be doing something else. I was always reading some other book than the one I was supposed to be reading for class. I did well academically. So I pulled it off. But one thing I keep telling my kids is, hey, learn from my mistakes. Don't procrastinate your stuff till the last minute because it's just so stressful, Yeah, so you pulled it off. That's great. I'm glad that you pulled it off. But, like, imagine if you just already had it done and then you got to sit back and watch everybody else scramble. But, yes, I had such a great experience with theater. Your child went to an $85,000 a year private college. Dear God, walked away with 0 debt because they have a giant endowment. Their admittance rate is 1.5%. So if they pick you to go there, They give you the money to go if your parents cannot afford it. Reed College in Portland is doing this, and they've been doing it, I think, for Oregon residents, and they're talking about opening it up to kids from other places. And I couldn't be more proud to be from a place like Portland where there are schools that exist that are like, look, like Reed's been around forever and is a private college, and it's fairly spendy. They're saying, like, look, we know there are people who can afford to pay to go here, so we're going to take that money that we make, and we're not going to worry about, like, keeping as many, you know, every last penny of it that we possibly can, and we're going to make sure that other kids have an opportunity to get an education here. You know, good for them. That's huge. And unfortunately, a lot of the public colleges are not treating education like a community resource anymore. It's about the bottom line, and that's so frustrating. You know, there are families who just cannot afford it, but like imagine what their children could do if given these same, just the opportunities. Not saying, like, nobody's guaranteeing their success. It's about access to opportunity, not, you know. And for low-income households, having these resources available is so huge. Like, I can tell you, my mom worked 3 jobs so I could do stuff like go on band trips to Epcot Center and junk like that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Sometimes you do have to fake it till you make it, but let's not make that our default setting. I'm so glad that you jumped in here today. It's been a fun conversation already so far today, but, you know, I will say this. The landscape has changed significantly since I went to school with regard to going to school, with regard to, you know, art and being a creative. And now you really have a lot more tools to be able to do things your way, like Alexander was saying, and to connect with like-minded people. You know, that is one of the benefits of this wacky, wild, wonderful, weird World Wide Web. But, you know, we also have to watch out because, unfortunately, you know, it's like as AI becomes more sophisticated, advanced, etc., they're kind of whiting out the need for real people to do these things, and that feels pretty. That doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. Like, use AI for special effects with the real actors, great. You know, keep them from having to do dangerous stunts, heck yeah. Can AI crochet a Blue Yeti microphone cover? Yes, while talking about the value of art? I don't think so. There is something just always missing from AI generated stuff that, like, I am not trying to start a controversial topic right now, but it makes me wonder about just the nature of our existence, you know? It does. It gives me pause and makes me think, like, well, what is it? You know, that you know, where does our sentience and self-awareness come from? Robots can't even crochet. It's true. You're not wrong. So what, do you have any fiber arts projects right now? Do you post pictures of your stuff? Also, and I'm not just trying to drag you to my like, you can join the Discord, post in the show and tell, and leave immediately if you like. You can Irish goodbye my Discord. I'm Irish. I'm allowed to say that. You can Irish goodbye my Discord all you want. You can go in there, throw a picture post and party, and then just peace out. I will not be offended. And I will say this. If that happens, if someone leaves your Discord and if you suspect that there was a problem, then definitely, you know, reach out and say, hey, I just wanted to connect and make sure that there wasn't an issue. But don't take it personally. I know I had to leave some Discords because I wasn't active in them. I had way too many Discords. I've actually thought about starting a band called Too Many Discords, and it would be all like gamer, streamer themed songs and albums and stuff. Like we'd have a song called CCV. I'm not gonna say it. We're PG-13 here, okay? Oops, all Discords, yeah. Yes. And the cereal is shaped like the Discord icon. Oh my goodness. Oh. Yeah, exactly. CCV as a CCR cover. Hi, Mateo. YouTube Quack Squad up in the place. You're working on a little shirt right now. You really post photos of work, but you did share some amigurumi dumplings you made for a family around Xmas. I raced my friend Chimera making little bao buns that she does for craft fairs, and she kicked my butt. Thanks for the invite. You're not on Discord. Oh, no worries. We just like to geek out over each other's projects. And I was going to say, if you do like posting pictures of your work, we have a show and tell channel. But yeah, no pressure, no worries. And I understand. Sometimes I want to just chuck Discord in the dumpster. Because I can't keep up with all of it. And I feel anxiety over that. And then I also go, I already spend too much time on the internet. Like, I don't know how I could possibly spend more time on the internet unless I was like neglecting feeding my family. You know? So I think I might have made this too big and I'm not counting my stitches, which I should be doing. I just, with this fur yarn, I just feel for where the stitches are. But yeah, robots can't crochet if you guys didn't know that. They have not successfully... I think there's a reason why they have not come up with machines that can crochet, and it's because the cost-benefit ratio is just not there. Knew you were a bot. You're not a bot. You're not a bot. How you doing, Mark? Oh crap, Mark. The nerds are frothing at the mouth here. Do you care about the Final Fantasy set? Are you a Final Fantasy nerd? My husband had to go buy chairs. We just finished demoing our back room of the shop. You do up to a point. We just finished demoing, like there was, so our room where we have like gameplay stuff at the shop had it was like one big section that used to be open cubicles when it was a real estate office. And then it had 3 small rooms with doors, right? And we were using those to let people go in there and do like, you know, if they wanted to come in and play D&D or whatever. But it just wasn't an efficient use of the space. And they were not load bearing. So we demolished all those walls and opened that whole back room up. And now there's so much more space back there. But that meant like we did not have enough chairs. You're going to get some singles. It'd be nice to get a pre-release in, but you're not going to spend a lot on it. Rather wait for a space set. But man, so many birds. Yeah. Chocobos and junk. If anyone is in here and doesn't know this, my husband and I own and operate a TCG TTRPG and comic book shop in St. Helens, Oregon. Yeah, but we've got a lot of people that are very, very hyped for this set. And then we just had a Lorcana and a Pokemon set. I actually... may or may not have a few packs of Pokemon right here. That was a heck of a sentence I just said. I don't remember what I just said. I just talk. TCG, TTRPG, and comic book. Yeah. Running a game shop to get all the rare drops is a pro gamer move. Yeah, should I open a Pokemon pack? Are we ripping packs, chat? I should finish this microphone cover to pay for the Pokemon packs. No. Scalpers only camp big box stores where they charge MSRP. and snatch stuff up online. They camp out, at the Pokemon vending machines. They know exactly when those machines are stocked. They show up to Target, other big chain stores, Walmart, GameStop, etc. Because, if they were to buy from us, we don't always charge MSRP. They want to buy boxes and boxes of them, and they want to snatch up every single box on the shelf. Yeah. You tried to get some new packs last week, and a grown man who hasn't showered beat you up. Completely unsurprised. What we have, Tired Streamer, is people who call us, ask what we have in stock, and when I tell them we have a limit of 5 packs per person, we're not selling whole boxes of certain sets. We only have, 4 of the super premium collector set that had the EV box, the EV pack box, or deck box. I want the EV deck box. I don't even care about the cards. Now I'm like, now do I have to crochet a furry EV deck box? That would be pretty cool. Can you get 6 packs? Absolutely not. And don't even try to leverage the fact that it was just your birthday either. Scalpers have ruined your love for collecting. It's really tough. So then we also get people who show up to the store without calling first, toting several binders worth of their own cards. And I understand. Sometimes we have to, it's heartbreaking to have to sell your stuff sometimes, right? So I know that for some of these people, it's not like a fun thing that they're showing up to be like, how much can I get for these? But they don't call ahead, and they don't ask us if we even buy Pokemon singles. And we don't. We only purchase Magic the Gathering singles, and those only at certain times and only a certain amount per week or month. And it's really best if any of you are considering selling any of your collection and you want to try to do that locally. I would tell you this. It's going to take more work and it's going to take more time. But if you list your cards individually yourself online, you will get a better price for them. If you want to sell them to a shop like us, we have to stay in business. We're not just trying to take advantage of people, but we can't give you full market value for your cards, because then what do? We don't mark up cards. We charge TCG Player fair market value for singles. We literally look up the price in TCG Player, and that is what we charge the person when they ask for a card out of our singles case. So we would not be making any kind of profit. And regrettably, you can't pay the bills if you're not making some profit. So we really try we're not trying to gouge people. Our prices are very reasonable, but we mostly do not charge exact MSRP for things unless the value has just come down that far. And we do not take trade-in stuff. And we mostly would encourage people, we'll give you way better, store credit. So if you are like, oh yeah, I really want the new Pokemon set, the new Magic set, then that would be the time to say, you know what, I got some cards that are worth something that I'm willing to part with, and I will sell them in order to be able to justify buying the new set or whatever. That is how I would recommend you go about it. I know the problem with knowing how to crochet. So you're like, oh, that's really cute. I can make that. But please don't say that to someone at their stall at a craft market. Oh, that's really cute. You're charging what? I can make that. Great. Then why don't you? Then you're not the clientele. You're not my target demographic then. Nice meeting you. Bye-bye. So rude. That sound that's so popular right now. It's pretty flippin' rude. That's not what she says in the sound, by the way. Secret was just telling you the only place she can find Pokemon cards is Costco because of scalp. I know, it's pretty sad. Store credit. Ha ha ha. You have hundreds of the originals. You kind of want to sell them. I would consider whether or not some of them might be worth having graded, Mike, and holding on to in case all the bulk bird. Oh yeah. Ooh, Mark, that's a cool idea. I just read I'm sorry, I just saw your message underneath the first one that said also the bulk bird cards. Imagine you cut out the art from Pokemon cards to put on Magic cards. You're going to have some people in a tizzy, Mark. But Mama Andy wants 6. Oh, Mike, I see, Mike. Mike knows that I have a weakness for Mama Andy. I am the president of the official Mama Andy fan club. Mama Andy is Mike's wife, and I don't know how that makes him feel, and I don't care. You have hundreds of originals. I would consider whether some of them, Mike, if they're very high value, look at the history of the price. I should go find out what's making my dogs nuts upstairs. Do we need to play ads? 8 minutes. I'm going to do a minute and a half ad break now. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'll be right back. It was just somebody walking by with their dog. Why does it say that you used 200 bets 10 minutes ago? What did you do? Did I miss something? Oh my God, I'm the worst ever. I don't know how I waited tables for 25 years. Thank you guys if you're hanging out on the YouTube. I very much appreciate that. Reese's Chocobo. My peanut butter got in your Chocobo. What did you do 10 minutes ago, tired streamer, that I missed completely? Oh, failed. Timeout. Did you get a refund? Here. Don't let them know that you're a robot that can crochet. It always sounds like the TTS in Tangia. That's me. It always sounds like it's going to say something else. Hopefully, I think you might have gotten a refund. You may have gotten a refund for that. I'm sorry that I missed that. It's because I don't have my headphones on. Texting, I'm sorry. Just making sure I have the rest of, my day mapped out because there's never not a million things happening. Well, thank you. I'm sorry that I missed that. It has an alert sound, but it's rather subtle, which, especially when I'm yapping my face off. Yeah, one of our regulars at the shop does takes Pokemon cards and like cuts parts of them out to make like a relief. We need to meet up this summer. Kate, thanks. My husband and I have been talking about how it's really silly that we live so close to, like, that it's not that far of a drive to Seattle and we never go up there. No. Okay. This pesky fur yarn, I tell ya. But man, do those ASM artists ever... They write the nicest reviews. They are so thrilled that somebody can make them what they want in the color that they want it in. You'll be in Seattle in July for a few days doing tourist stuff. If you want those dates in a DM. I will say, my mom is talking about coming that month, and we also have some other stuff that's already going on that month. But let me know, because you never know, and that would be fun. Reese's Chocobo Cups. Seems like it would be a pretty... like a no-brainer. What I love about these is they are so quick. Like, if I'm gonna make the same of something, like if I'm gonna have to make, I think I've made hundreds of these at this point. It has to be something that is not complex, does not involve a bunch of sewing. And this is my own original design. Imagine being a designer. So crazy. No! Okay, fixed it. You wish to be as efficient and speedy as me at crocheting. If it helps, Mama Ross, unless it's like something like this, like an Etsy order, or whatever, I may be good at, I may crochet, you know, quickly, but only to like somewhere between 23 and 69% of completion of the project. And then I go, ooh, something shiny. And I start some other new, like, look at this poor whale. This whale is like 2 or 3 years old and still does not have eyeballs. This is 98% finished. Someone said it's a tribble. I don't really understand that reference. We are so same. You cannot even. It just, you know, like, but why? Would you get that close to finishing something, and then just be like, meh. I don't like finishing things. I have to double check this order and make sure that I'm about to put the right color trim on it. And I would try to lure people away from Etsy, but selling things on Etsy means I sell more things on Etsy, and I don't want to do business with Etsy over other platforms. But purple. They do want purple. Okay, cool. I am going to say this is the purple to go with this. Yeah. Our weird brains be weird braining sometimes. All right. Where is the... Oh, boy. Oh, geez. Oh, my. It's a mess. This is Red Heart, and I am not fond of the texture of this particular color. But, like, this doesn't need to be super fancy yarn. That would be kind of silly. Like, yes, I make microphone covers out of biodynamic alpaca fleece. No. The other thing is I do this part with the trim in single crochet, but I've been doing, I'm sure other people struggle with this. The rest of the pattern is in half double. So my brain is like, nope, we are doing half double crochet. And my fingers are like, we do what the brain tells us to do. And I'm like, listen, but what about what I want? All right. Yeah, I would, Hubs and I were talking about how we really desperately need some sort of family vacation. We have not done anything. We have gone on day trips, okay? Let me not paint some grim picture of our lives. We're just very busy with, you know, all the stuff that we have going on, and traveling when you need to buy, especially by plane, airfare for 5 people is no joke. Somebody asked me if I was going to TwitchCon, and I was like, yeah, if, you know, I get on a panel and I don't have to pay for admission, and you know, I'm lucky to have somebody who I can stay with in San Diego. Oh, awesome. Good for you, Mama Ross. Yeah, it's a necessity. And I mean, you know, let me say this, like, going on a vacation with kids, it can be, yes. It may not be like, you know, the same as like just going and laying on the beach somewhere, not having to keep track of your toddler who is trying to repeatedly join forces with Aquaman out in the ocean. But it's still quality family time and time away from the grind and your usual routine. It's a change of location. It's experiences. Where are you headed to, if you don't mind my asking? You got the TSA pre-check, and you take the 3 kids with you to make it faster, where Hubs doesn't have it yet. You're going to Disney World? Oh my gosh. How fun. That is awesome. I am so happy for you. We have talked about taking our kids to Disneyland. I've never been to Disneyland, actually. Even though we lived in San Diego when I was a kid, and I lived in LA for a couple of years, I've never been to Disney World, or Disneyland. But I have been to Disney World at least 2 times. I don't think I've been a third. I went once as a kid when we lived in Florida, and also as a teenager when I was in band and I got to play bassoon at Epcot Center. and run all over Disney World with my pals in high school, which was actually very, very fun. But we took a bus. We took a charter bus all the way from Iowa. We did not fly. It was really great. I have very fond memories of that trip. There was a rather charming young man at the MoCo. I still remember his name. His name was Nabil. And my friend and I talked about Nabil for some time after that. It's pretty awesome. We were such good kids, though. Nobody got in, I really mean that. Nobody got in any kind of trouble or anything. You danced with a boy that looked like Ricky Martin at Pleasure Island. They got rid of the clubs. Yeah, I don't think we had access to that stuff. You know, we were being supervised fairly well. Like, you know, we had some time where we were allowed to wander a bit on our own as long as we were, you know, following certain rules and stuff. But yep, it was a good experience. I would love it if my kids had the chance to do it. A trip like that. It wouldn't have to be Disney World. Look at that, chat. I started and finished a thing on stream. Done. Now all I have to do is print a label. And I've made so many of these that, like, honestly, packing them is like I could do it in my sleep. Oh, I've done it many times. I've done it many times here before. You guys love to go off about how chaotic you are. And in fact, it's actually quite cozy and calm here a lot of the time. I love this. This is a great water bottle. And one thing I like about it as somebody who works in my local community with young people and does not need them to know about any of this is this does not scream, I'm a streamer. Like so much of my other swag and gear from charity stuff, which is like understandable, right? Like advertising the fact that the person streamed for the charity, totally normal. But I can wear Starlight stuff and it doesn't scream, look at me, I'm a streamer. It doesn't have Twitch insignia on it. You want 5 more of them in all different colors for the Bob brand, the books, etc. You're good. Brian, you've seen me in chat. I mean, you know, for me anyways, I don't care. When I know that it's okay for me to type in all caps in someone else's chat, I am so for it. I love it. I try not to be too crazy with it, too excessive. I have definitely gotten timed out in many channels for using too much all caps. You know, because that's supposed to be screaming. And I'm like, have you been to my channel? Pretty much my brand. I am proud of myself. label and packing slip about to be printed as well, because that makes it that much more likely that I will actually just send the thing out tomorrow. Tomorrow. I'm shipping tomorrow. You're only a USPS trip away. All right, probably a couple of days. This person will probably receive this in 2, maybe 3 days. If I could get down to the post office today, they'd probably have it by Friday. But I don't think I'm going to have time for that. Not today, anyway. All right. Should I work on the MoCo shawl? I really need to make shop stock. But I'm enjoying knitting. Brian, what is the deal with recruiting for Stand Up to Cancer? Speaking of charity and charity campaigns, our friends the MoCos are recruiting folks to stream for St. Jude in July. When is SU2C starting? August? Is it carrying over into September? Do we have exact dates? Feel free to tell me to shut up if you're like, I'm not ready to think about this. I just wrapped up a huge Kickstarter campaign. August 6th through the 16th. Let's go. I don't read Discord. Brian, I don't read Discord. It's so funny. I have the two people on this platform that call me by my actual name have come to chat today. You and Mark. You just like... Are you the friend who just shows up at someone's house and is like... knocks on their door like, what are you doing? You just... Hello? Open up! I'm here! You're vampiric. You need an invite first. Well, I'm gonna work on the shawl. Look at this is my project bag from Ella. I love this bag. It's so cute. I am not what you just said. The yarn I'm using is Boss Kitty Yarns Kitty Glitter. In a colorway that is very appropriate for our channel called Fairy Thoughts. If you want to be a part of it, ask you, Amor, etc. The website should be going live the second week of June. Very cool. This will be our third year streaming for Stand Up to Cancer with Team Stand Up Builders. And I know that you were talking a little bit. I couldn't pay as much attention as I wanted to during Amor's stream the other day because I was busy hosting an empty room of Pokemon and Lorcana players. That's not true. We did have some people in. Very nice family who I really like. And the dad is maybe going to be a Pokemon judge for us if we can get people to actually come in and play the card game. Here, I should change my title. They were playing Lorcana, so I didn't want to be ignoring them. Brian was talking about it. You were saying we want to encourage folks Oh, wow. SUTC is giving loot crates for people who fundraise, etc. Oh, cool. We have almost 100 people on board. Let's go. So when we did our St. Jude in May, I put up a poll for what craft I should use to make a shawl and submit it as a potential auction piece for the MoCo's St. Jude. And knitted one, which is not a craft I practice as often here, which is interesting considering, like, so my here's the history of my involvement with fiber arts. At 7 years old, I begged my mom's best friend to teach me to crochet, and she will tell you that she does not typically enjoy teaching kids crafts and the like. Depends, but she's like, yeah, I just don't really actually, harsh as this might sound, she's like, I don't like a lot of kids. She's like, but you were always just different. Ever since you were a baby, I've always felt very like fond of and connected to you. You were just like the best baby, and it's very sweet. I'm also like, dang, Cheryl. But she taught me to crochet when I was 7, and I did it off and on throughout my childhood. But then I kind of quit doing anything like that. I learned to crochet and cross stitch, to crochet and cross stitch, and when I started doing music and theater, I just didn't have time for it because when I wasn't rehearsing, I was trying to keep up with my schoolwork and etc. Then in my early 20s, after during a hiatus from college, i.e. I flunked myself out of the University of Iowa because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life anymore, I picked crochet back up again. And then I started going to some local yarn shops a couple years after that, and trying to like get into like, oh, okay, well, there's all this other like really fancy like wool yarns and stuff. I noticed that at the local yarn shops, almost all of the example items in the shop, all the tools, everything, all the printed patterns, because that's how people used to have to buy them, was on paper, were heavily geared toward people who knit, towards knitting projects. And so I said, okay, fine, I'll learn how to knit. And I taught myself to knit using, yes, I did go on the internet to find the instructions, but there were no, there was not like copious amounts of like YouTube tutorials, etc. So then, after teaching myself to knit, I knitted almost exclusively for the next 10 years or so, almost 15. I just was knitting blankets and socks and hats. But then I found,
thanks to a kosher bacon jam for my
which,
son. 32
hi,
months of
came
farts.
apart. How are you, friend? Thank you so much to KBJ for that gift sub. Oh, we need to do Chen's pink chicken. That's a great reminder. KBJ, or KBJ? Came apart, what color do you want? Pink, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, or white? Blue. Excellent. How's the little guy? How are you, friend? And welcome back for, gosh, how many months? 32 months. That's wild. Thank you, friend. Thank you for being part of our community for that long. And huge thanks and shout out to our friend Kosher Bacon Jam for supporting the channel with a lovely multi-month gift sub. That's such a nice way to support someone who creates content and then also give that person the target to snipe them for multiple months. Of course, you can always continue a gift sub at any time. You will not be charged until the gift sub runs out. So when they have deals on subscribing, that's a great time to take advantage of it, and you can still do it even when you have like a 69-month gift sub from Fearless Giving. That doesn't exist. It should, though. Twitch, please take my brilliant idea. No! Your baby is not almost a year old. That is insane. That's not possible. That's crazy. That's wild. I have to start counting these stitches and see if I've gotten to 64 yet. I don't think so. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. What? 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 35. We've got quite a ways to go before we get to 64. You do the corner of this shawl all kind of somewhat clean. Oh my God. I will say the join in this this circular set is a bit tough sometimes. Things snag on it a little bit. Chen, our friend Chen, I used her Twitch Prime earlier, and here you are. Came apart coming in and announcing your resub courtesy of our friend KBJ. So 2 more chickens into the bowl. One for Chen, whose name is Pink, and I didn't get an answer about what color she wanted, so I'm just going to use pink for her. Ready? 3, 2, 1. And also for you, Came Apart. Thank you so much. 3, 2, 1. Into the bowl of Bachnificence. You must go. Hope you're having a good Wednesday. I am so ready for school to be over and to not have a million flipping things going on at any given time. Oh, geez. This shawl will be up for auction for the MoCo Loco St. Jude auction happening next month. So I really need to bust it out because I don't remember what the deadline is. Well, happy almost 1 year to you and your sweet little family. Had an unofficial TwitchCon and met up with 4 close friends. Oh, cool. Hi, Intra. I was focused on my project. What's going on, Intra? We have an ad break coming in on Twitch. If you don't have a sub or Turbo, you might get up to 90 seconds of ads. Thank you so much for staying through them. I do appreciate folks sticking around through the ad break. If you are a Turbo subscriber, you count as ad impression credit, even though you are not going to have to see the ads. Yay for you. And for me. And for the platform. It's a win-win-win for everyone except those advertisers who want to get their promotional material in front of you. You're on vacation, but more like visiting with friends and family in your hometown for 2 weeks, but you're bored. I hear that. My mom's from Iowa. Oh, there goes my stitch marker. My mom is from Iowa, and when I go back to visit there, if I'm there for any more than about a week, it gets pretty boring really fast. Like, I have some people who I will look up and see if they're around, but I haven't been in touch with a lot of folks from there for a long time. But if I'm there with my kids, then that's different, you know? Because then we're usually trying to find things to do, and but we haven't been there in a while. My husband and I were talking about that, though, and maybe saying, like, even though my mom is planning a trip out here, that maybe I should just be, like, trying to take, like, one kid at a time there every so often. Which would be kind of fun for me to be able to spend sort of quality one-on-one time. It's just the cost and the logistics and... So yes, chat voted for me to make a knitted shawl, which again is not something I do as frequently here, but I did spend a fair amount of time only knitting because I kind of became like hyper focused on it. So I knitted a lot of baby things for our kids. Actually, I need to find and collect all that stuff and store it somewhere where it won't get damaged by like moths and stuff. I don't know if this will, you know, not curl as much once it's blocked. I am liking how these pretty little pops of color. This yarn is called Fairy Farts. And it was hand dyed by our friend Boss Kitty. BK is mostly doing just like YouTube, Patreon, and sells her yarn on her website, but All the like kind of content and other stuff is all happening on Patreon and YouTube. But used to stream on Twitch as well. Thank you. If you just got an ad break and you stayed through it, I super appreciate you. Thank you for being willing to sit through those ads. I mean, and you don't have to sit and watch them. You can get up and stretch or get water. We will have our own another St. Jude team campaign coming up in October for creative season. We do try to keep our team campaign focused on creative stuff. But that's why, like, I think something like participating in creative season when you haven't done creative streams before is like a really fun way for folks to have an excuse to try something new on their channels. So like if you've never painted on stream before, if there's a craft you practice that you just haven't done on stream, it could be an excuse to, try it out. Or maybe there's some things you've wanted to learn, but you just haven't pushed yourself to do it yet. Charity milestones can be a great way to like kind of talk yourself into it. Oh, well, it's for the kids. Probably at like 38. We need to get to 64 stitches. Let me double check the pattern though. Yeah, 64 stitches ending with a wrong side, which is the side that I'm knitting right now. And typically when you see all the bumps like you see here, that's the wrong side. And then the side that has, the nice smooth looking arrows, that's the right side. Although there are lots of patterns where there's designs on a background of like pearl stitches, cable work and the like. Which I'm not terribly fond of. Cables, it feels like it's just so fiddly. I'm like, dude, gotta go fast. I don't want to have to stop every however many stitches and start thinking about cables and Got about a half an hour to make more progress on this right now. We had a music function. We had a music picnic last night. And I brought that strawberry rhubarb dessert, and everybody was complimenting me. But I feel like it could have either had more cornstarch, or maybe it might have actually needed to cook a bit longer, or I just could have had like particularly juicy like berries or something, because it was a bit runny. The flavor was great. Everything tasted good. The topping was pretty good. But there was a lot of liquid in the bottom of the baking dish. Also, I'm not really certain yet, but that schedule is definitely going to change in about a week. Hi, Crafting with Amy. I am creating a knitted shawl. This is the... You know what? I might have forgotten to change the title info on YouTube. I did. Because we're not doing show and tell today. This is, this is a paid pattern that is available on Ravelry from, what is the name of the designer again? It's called the Insomnia Shawl. I can grab the link for you in a second if you'd like. And I am using Boss Kitty Yarns Kitty Glitter. It is actually a glitter yarn. The stellina doesn't show up on camera as well as it does in person for sure, like a lot of sparkle yarns. Hi, Dan, and we are live on both YouTube and Twitch, so if I start talking to someone who's not typing in chat on one platform, that's because they're on the other one. I mainly stream on Twitch, but we also simulcast to YouTube during a lot of my daytime streams. What about you, Crafting with Amy? Are you working on anything right now? Dan, you got any fun projects? What's everybody working on? We do actually do show and tell every Monday in the Discord. You can post in there anytime that you like in the show and tell channel in the content corner category. But yes, this is a knitted shawl. I forget the name. It might be this still if no one has changed it. Yeah. Copy. Paste. I popped it into You only crochet, but knitting amazes you. You're making a crocheted beanie for those without a home along with other items. Ah, that's so sweet. That is lovely. This item will be auctioned to benefit St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So we are all about crafting with a cause here. So that's very cool. Do you donate them to a particular organization, or do you just take them to somewhere locally? One organization that I've thought about fundraising for is Loose Ends. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, Amy. Before I started doing Twitch streaming and before they shut the program down, I used to do the little red hats for the American Heart Association to promote heart health when people have newborns. So they, want to bring awareness not only to heart defects, to congenital defects and the like, but they also want to help the parents take better care of their hearts, which is pretty awesome. So they're promoting not just newborn, awareness of issues that can happen when a baby is born or like even, in utero, but also helping the parents take better care of their hearts. And my daughter did an American Heart Association fundraiser at school. Silly question, what does UTC mean? What is it again, chat? I want to say Universal Time Code. Timestamp? Something like that. It's basically Greenwich Mean Time, isn't it? Or are those two different things, but they're the same zone? It's like 0 on a 24-hour clock of like the world's time zones. So when someone says you are, plus 3 UTC, it means you're 3 hours ahead of UTC time. St. Jude is a great cause. You'll be taking them to a church to take to shelters. Awesome. We love people using their skills to help others. Oh. Yeah, there's places locally that might take your donated handmade items, or like, for example, if there's a school that's fundraising and they're doing a craft fair or what have you. Like, if you're not interested in making things to make money yourself, but you want to use your skills to help others, there's lots of ways you can do that. You finished a very large dice bag, which could be a small handbag as well, on Monday, and you started a washcloth. Right on. And, there's no reason why you can't do both, why you can't, like, make stuff to sell and to support yourself, or to just be able to buy more yarn, and also make stuff that benefits other people. But yeah, I'm a St. Jude ambassador, and we participate every year in Play Life Challenge season, which just wrapped up. And then we have a big team campaign. Our main event for fundraising for St. Jude is Creative Season in October. And I have been to the campus. It's a really amazing experience to be able to witness all the good that they do in person. So we will be doing our 7th creative season for me as a streamer, and our our 5th as a team. Do you do any other crafts besides crocheting then, Amy? I know many of us here are multi-craftual. So I crochet, I knit, cross stitch. We've done diamond art. Hi, Rhinus. How are you? Speaking of awesome friends of the channel who are also fellow artists and makers and charity supporters, Rhinus Leatherworks over on Twitch is amazing. Do you have a YouTube, Rhinus? I wonder if I'm already subbed to you, if you do. This is a shawl, Rhinus, for the MoCo Loco St. Jude auction next month. You just started it. If you want to grab the link, we'll get you a permit. You need a permit first. Don't just post it or else you'll get bopped, because we've had problems with people coming in and just being like, go watch my cousin's music video, and posting their links just willy-nilly in the chat. Oh, so what? That's the best time for us to come and subscribe to your channel and help you out. Let me know when you're ready and we'll get you a permit. What you guys got going on? Did you apply to Artist Alley for TwitchCon? I forget, did you do it again last year? You didn't get in? I'm sorry. You didn't get in? That's wild. You know who else didn't get in? Who's like a seasoned. I'm just like, this makes me feel a little better that I didn't get in. Plaidberry Design. And Plaidberry is our friend Graham, Tabatai Cooking's wife, and she's done so many cons and craft fairs, craft markets and stuff. So like, if people who have that level of like experience, no. And I applied for a booth with Karen and we did not get accepted. And I don't want to sound like I'm being petty, okay? Please don't take it this way. But it's hard because I'm like, well, okay, I understand. Like, there's a certain type of product that's probably likely to sell better at TwitchCon. And a lot of it is, you know, like fan art stuff, anime style art, etc. And I love anime. I'm not knocking that art form. We sell manga at the comic book shop. I love chibi things, kawaii things. I love Pokemon. Ready for Link. So I'm not saying that those people don't deserve to be there, but I saw at least 4 or maybe even upwards of like a dozen booths at TwitchCon Vegas, where when I went to look up the artist at the booth, I noticed that they did not have any recent broadcast evidence, meaning like they had not streamed actively on the platform, maybe even kind of ever. They were not consistent broadcasters in any way. And again, I'm not saying that they don't deserve to be there, but it's weird because it's like, it's TwitchCon. Shouldn't Artist Alley at TwitchCon focus on people who create content of themselves making their things like you guys do, like Karen and I do, and maybe not focus on the people? There's the YouTube right there, you guys. Rhinus Leatherworks, pretty straightforward, exactly like it is on Twitch. Smart of you to have. Sometimes we can't get the consistent branding across platforms. Get subscribed to Nerd. Let's help them get that subscriber count up over on YouTube. These are really great friends of the channel who are extremely talented, who make amazing, intricate leatherwork pieces. and chainmail and all kinds of other cool stuff for film and television and just cuz. Oh no, one of your emotes got held. Hi, Great Catsby, how are you? So yeah, please make sure you give them, throw a sub at them on YouTube, and I will post that link in the YouTube chat as well. Yeah, that makes no sense. You guys are so good at what you do. It's totally germane to Twitch. You're fantastic artists and people, but I'm partial to the folks I've become friendly with over the years, of course. So I'm going to be biased, but I think that's kind of crazy. I can tell you which one it is, I bet. It said bullying, which is hilarious. It's just like heart arriba. Oh, right, because it starts with the last letter of Rhinus and ends right before the H. Yes, indeed. It's like, it's an emote code, but I mean, it could be, you know, because we're PG-13 here and I have my auto mod dialed up just a little bit more than a lot of other people on the platform, but no, it's all good. Just something in between would probably help. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope, if you guys are applying this year, I'll keep all my digits crossed for you. I don't know that I'm going to apply for Artist Alley because I have not had any kind of time to create stock. Yeah, these, I wish I had a size 4 fixed circular because I don't know if it's just this size in particular, but I'm having trouble with when the stitches are going past where the join is. I will say the join on these Addies that don't use like a key or whatever is a little bit wonky, and you do end up having to kind of struggle with your stitches a bit. Amy, if you're still here on YouTube, I would recommend, if you do ever want to learn to knit, the style of knitting that I'm doing right now is referred to a lot of the time as continental. And I would say probably most people who have picked up crochet first are going to do better with continental than, unless you are a crocheter who wraps your yarn around your hook, which is a thing. I am going to snooze these ads. But yeah, so far this is a pretty boring pattern. It just is, which I actually really don't mind. It's knit 2, make 1 left, knit across to the last 2 stitches, slip with yarn in front, turn, knit 2, purl to the last 2 stitches, slip with yarn in front. Like, you just do that for a while. Have I ever made a thick corgi? I've never made a corgi. I have never made a corgi. I know you know Chimera, right? There is a blue merle corgi that lives down the street from us that will not let me pet it over the fence yet. All these years later. It's very shy. This dog is very skittish. And part of it is because it has a sibling, if you will. There's another pet in their household, in that house, that is super high strung and jumps up, like gets on the fence, jumps up, and barks like crazy anytime anyone walks by, whether they have animals or not. Looks like it's probably maybe a golden doodle. And I'm sure that it's a sweet pup once you get to know it, but the dog is like completely out of its mind every time you walk by. And I think that the little one just goes like, you know what? I'm just back here doing my thing, and I don't need to be part of all of this. Oh my goodness. Ooh, I almost lost a stitch. Whew. Both poodles are pretty barky sometimes. Poodles can be pretty barky and reactive. They're also very smart dogs. In your experience, most healthcare-related organizations are best hesitant to take handmade donations. You would use them for fundraising due to possible infection risk. If you're wanting to donate to healthcare organizations, contact yes. Otherwise, you just really need to make the items out of materials that can be sanitized. And unfortunately, the cheapest yarn choice is acrylic, which is not something you should put through high heat. So that's why we shouldn't make pot holders out of acrylic, not because anyone is trying to cramp your style or judge your yarn shopping choices. We are trying to keep you from hurting yourself. The big net didn't work, so you had to relent and use a bus ticket instead. Well, you know, better luck next time. No, you're fine, Dan. All right. Oh, my stream manager is struggling. Everything is spinning circles. Thank you for the lurk, Rhinus. Guys, please give Rhinus a follow here on Twitch. And also drop a sub on the YouTube. here's the YouTube link in case anybody needs it again. And it is literally the most recent message in YouTube chat. So do pop over there and drop a sub on their YouTube, and make sure that you give them a follow here on Twitch. It's so important to me to support my friends who are fellow artisans and makers, but even more so for folks who dedicate their time, their energy, their talents, etc. to a good cause like they do with Starlight. And they're great friends of the channel, so definitely give them a follow, please. Let's see. All right, so I had fun yesterday playing Star Trek again. If you guys want to download the game using that link that just popped into the chat from Stream Elements, that helps support the channel, even if all you do is download it and check it out.
God, no cap, you bet.
Yes, Sam, we are. If you decide you want to play the game for a little bit, there are some goals that will help support the stream even further. If you're feeling like you're enjoying it, great. But even just downloading the game helps support the channel. So thank you to those of you who have already done so. Of course, regrettably, that only counts for new players. So, but don't stress. Don't trouble yourself if you've already played it in the past. If you participated in a sponsorship with someone else or what have you, please do not feel any guilt whatsoever. No guilt. None whatsoever. Zammy, how are you? What's going on, Zam? What you up to? We made some progress on this shawl today, which is great. This will be available for you to bid on in the MoCo St. Jude auction in July. It will look quite a bit different when it's finished. I mean, you know, it's going to need to be blocked and all that stuff, but it's a fun pattern. I'm enjoying making it. We also finished a Blue Yeti microphone cover for an Etsy order, and I'm already all ready to like ship this out. I shipped my pants. I am possibly going to be live later tonight to do more work on either this or start trying to make more shop stock or something. And Thursday's a question mark, Friday's a question mark. Or Friday I definitely won't be live during the day. Thursday is a question mark. I will not be live Friday during the day. And this weekend, who knows what's really going on. It's the end of the school year, y'all. And so I appreciate your patience with how my schedule sometimes can be a little bit on the inconsistent side. It is extremely important for me to be there as much as I can for my children and my spouse. Everybody give Zammy a follow. Awesome friend of the stream, fellow crocheter. I'm not sure who's more competitive, me or Zam, but maybe we need a collab to find out. I'm supposed to teach Zam to knit. We still haven't done that because I'm a squirrel. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Wednesday. I think it would be fun to raid our friends, the MoCos. So let's do it. Come with us on the raid. It is so helpful, not only for us, but for our friends who we're raiding into. And if you've never been there before, I mean, you know, that's hard for me to imagine if you've been around makers and crafting at all for any amount of time. But they are fantastic, and I'm so excited to be part of their team to help fundraise for St. Jude with them with this auction. Stick with us for the raid. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so extra much to all of these people. I mean, thank you to anyone who spends time in the channel, but these folks are tier 3s, and that is wild, and I don't understand it. But I will accept it as a sign that I should maybe, I guess, keep going. And same with our Patreon pledges, the Patreon, and our Fourth Wall members. Your additional support off platform helps me to continue doing this